Gina and I are here today with the 912 truck. We're in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we're going to talk to Miss Cherylin Eagar. She's running for United States Senate in Utah, and she is trying to unseat
our incumbent Senator Bob Bennett, who is rated the number 8 most liberal Republican in the Senate, and we need to have him replaced and give him a vote of thanks.
Fantastic. Ms. Eagar, tell us, the 912 constituents, what it is or was about the 912 project that drew your interest and participation as a candidate.
Now, we're getting back to those basic principles that this nation was founded on, those constitutional principles of self-governance, of being able to freely assemble, speaking our minds, and being able to protect our families and ourselves, and those basic freedoms and rights that we have, and to protect ourselves from having those that would legislate them away.
Have you ever run or held office before?
Now, I've run for the school board in Dallas, Texas, and it was a good experience. We were able to win on the issues that we were running on, but I'm not a career politician. I am part of the grassroots, and I'm part of these folks in Utah that are really concerned about what our federal government is doing to take away their basic rights to having their own property and to make a living. 67% of our state is owned and managed and controlled by the federal government. In fact, specifically, the resources that this state has that could be fueling the energy for this entire country are being specifically targeted, and we cannot access them, and we think that's wrong.
Okay. Why now? What made you decide to step out now at this time in your life and become so politically active as a candidate?
Well, as an American, we're losing our basic rights. It's about our freedom. As a Utahn, I just mentioned our state's rights and sovereignty, getting back to the 10th Amendment. As far as my own personal, I'm a mom, and I am doing this for the future of our children and our grandchildren. And if we don't step up to the plate in 2010, I'm afraid we're going to lose this window of opportunity to really turn this around.
All right. How will you use the 9 principles and 12 values in your daily walk as a politician and before you're a politician as a political candidate?
Well, it makes no difference to me. I'm who I am before I was a candidate, and I'm a candidate now. These are principles and values that I've taught my children, that I try to personally live by as best I can. And if we can't take these principles back to Congress, that's exactly what's missing. We're not going to be able to turn this around. And so in this campaign in particular, we're talking about the 5,000-Year Leap, which is a book that was written by a friend of my parents and that I've known. His name was Cleon Skousen. And principles in that book are the principles that we really need in order to turn this nation around and bring it back to those core solid values that we share here in the heart of Utah and America.
Okay, on the issue, nationally, while you're a candidate for Senate seat in Utah, your decisions and votes will affect the entire country. Let's start with the Second Amendment. How do you feel on the Second Amendment? Where do you stand on the Second Amendment?
Well, on the Second Amendment, I just have to say, what part of shall not be infringed do you not understand? And that's where it begins and that's where it ends. You talk to people in Utah and we are hardcore.
Okay. On taxes?
On taxes, well, I think that our system is oppressive that we have right now. I think that we need to turn to a tax system that's going to be fair for everyone. And I prefer a consumption tax. The fair tax proposal has some great ideas in it. And, I think that that's the best way to do this because right now our tax system is favoring more credit, debt, deficit spending. But if we can move to 23% tax for all and it's on the consumption then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be promoting a savings mentality in this country. And that's the core principle, that we've got to be savings oriented. That's going to make our country be more solvent all the way around. I wish Congress would have that idea too.
On your website, I see that there are at least two issues that are very near and dear to you. One of them is education. Tell me about education.
That's right. Well, I go back to the idea that Reagan had when he ran for president. He promised that he would dismantle the Department of Education. My friends, if we don't get the federal government out of our local lives, we are going to continue down this path of losing our freedom. We have to eliminate the Department of Education and allow our teachers and our parents to be able to come together and decide what they think is best for the education of their children.
Okay. And the last issue I want to talk about right now is energy. Tell me about your stance on energy.
Well, energy here in the state of Utah is a really critical issue for us. Many people throughout this country may not know, but the state of Utah alone has enough resources that it could be fueling the entire nation. What's been happening is 67% of our land is either owned, managed, or controlled by the federal government. And it's really interesting to note that most of that land is targeted prime natural resources. We got folks out in our rural counties right now. They're out of work. They're struggling. And we have, for example, Deseret Power. I was just out at their plant. I got myself a pink hard hat here somewhere. But anyway, we walked through that coal-fired plant, and we can see that the president's cap-and-trade plan is really a scam. It's promising those 6.2 million jobs, but in reality, it's only going to be 121,000 jobs. And if you add that all up, what it really means is we're going to be in a deficit for jobs because our other natural resources and all of the jobs that come along with it are 4 times what the president is really proposing. We think that's wrong.